David, is this just now a victim of politics?
Well, I think it certainly has become a political football, and there's no question that there were people in the political arena who did want to whip this up, and I think that we all know that many of them were conservatives. They were genuinely offended, and they want to make an issue of it. I also think it's important, though, not to say that's the only thing. The New York Times, on its website, for example, said that the controversy broke out after that young man came into Manhattan. You know, the Muslim guy came in here and was trying to blow some people up. Unfortunately, he was intercepted. That it actually started then. So I think there's more than one reason why we have this controversy.
Roland, you've described the opposition to this center as, and I quote, unmistakable religious bigotry, intolerant, and hypocritical. Isn't that painting with a very broad brush? I mean, you know, we had folks on who didn't seem, you know, religiously intolerant. They just opposed the location of this mosque.
I spoke tonight at Howard University's Rankin Chapel, and we talked about the issue of faith as it relates to the intersection of media as well. And the point that I told the students at Howard was simple, that as a Christian, I don't want anyone telling me where I cannot build a church. I don't want anyone sitting here trying to say that because I am a Christian, how I cannot profess my love for Jesus Christ. And I do believe that we have folks who refuse to accept the notion that Islam is a major religion, and this whole bigotry towards Islam, painting a brush as if they're all the same, that they're all somehow are terrorists, that they're not Americans, and then as Kathleen Parker said, it's a question of them versus us. That's a part of this, absolutely.
But it's not, I mean, you can't say that everybody who's opposed to the mosque, you know, in the location near Ground Zero does that.
No, I am making the point. First of all, you might have the folks who are atheists or agnostic who oppose it as well. I am making the point that this is one of those tough times where we have to ask ourselves, how much do we really love and cherish our own U.S. Constitution? And we cannot sit here and call ourselves a nation that supports our troops fighting for freedom across the country when we want to ignore this very freedom here. This is the tough choice when you are an American.
Cliff, you're a former staffer at the Republican National Committee. Imam Ralph says basically this is a victim of politics. A lot of Republicans have been opposed to this. Are they using this?
No, and I think that's very unfair to say, and I think it's very unfair to demonize the 70% of Americans who have serious questions about this. I've been called a hater and an Islamophobe and a bigot because I've raised questions. Look, there are politicians on all sides of this. I don't agree with Mayor Bloomberg, but I don't think he's used it for politics. Governor Patterson tried to find a compromise. I don't think that was political. So to say, yeah, but anybody who disagrees with them or disagrees with me or who thinks that maybe this is an unwise choice, they're bigots, they're Islamophobes, and yes, they have ulterior motives. Nobody, Roland, is questioning the right of, or most of the 70%, if you look at the polls, they're not questioning the right to put a mosque or a church anywhere. They're questioning whether this is a good idea to put this $100 million structure. And it was originally it was called an Islamic facility. Tonight, the imam called it an interfaith center, I believe. If it's an interfaith center, let's do this. Let's ask him to do this. It's 15 floors. Let's put a church on a high floor. After all, Christians were the ones who founded this great nation. Then maybe a synagogue. Jews were, as was noted before by the governor, among the first to find religious freedom here. And then a mosque as well on a lower floor. If we did that, I think you could say it really is an interfaith center, and I think minds would change. And also, if you moved it to another location, because this is a sensitive location, an open wound, I think minds would change as well. But I really resent the demonization of those who oppose this.
Anderson, but you just heard Cliff do exactly what I'm talking about. Who are you to tell another religion how they should build something? As a member of Salem Baptist Church in Chicago and the Church Without Walls in Houston, I don't want some other faith telling my pastor or the members what we should build. No. But you just said, no, wait. And then, hold on, Cliff. Then you further insulted another religion by saying, well, because since we founded the country, put us on the top floor, and as Muslims, you could be on the lower floor. Who are you to tell them what to do with their center?
It's interesting. You think that the First Amendment's important, but for me to make a suggestion, you object to my First Amendment right. I'm making a suggestion. All I'm saying is if the imam wants to make the statement that we really mean this is an interfaith center, not strictly a Muslim facility that may allow some others in, then there are ways to do it and make that convincing.
I want to, if I could change the subject briefly, I want to talk about the role of the media in this, Anderson, because I do think that's important.
Okay, we got to keep it quick.
Okay, good. It does seem to me that media can play a constructive role. If you were to have the imam back with the families and have a real conversation, I thought tonight was constructive. On the other hand, if we give a lot of attention to this Koran burnings on Saturday, and we make a great big deal of it, this fringe element guy with 50 people, I think that's a mistake. I think we should not do that.
David Gergen, Cliff Baker, good to have you on, Roland Martin as well. Take a quick break. More ahead. We'll be right back.